The boy's breath comes out in white bursts, sharp and desperate against the black Chicago sky. His sneakers slide on ice he can't see, legs pumping hard through snow that swallows sound. Behind him, the city lights blur into streaks of gold and red, but ahead is only white. White that stings his eyes, white that hides the ground, white that makes every corner look the same. His name is Kaelen Moretti, and he's running away from the only home he's ever known. Not because he's brave. Because no one will tell him the truth. His fingers clutch a photo so tight the edges crumple, his mother's face, smiling, her arms around him before she disappeared like smoke. The staff won't say her name anymore. His father locked himself in his office for 3 days straight. And Kaelen, 7 years old and too smart for the lies, decided if no one would bring her back, he'd find her himself. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The snow doesn't care that he's small. It whips sideways between buildings, sharp enough to cut. His jacket, thin, soaked, useless, clings to his shaking body. His teeth chatter so hard he bites his tongue, tastes copper. But he doesn't stop. Can't stop. Across the city, under a broken street lamp near a boarded-up diner, another figure moves through the storm. Slower, careful, afraid. His name is Savion Vale, and he's running from something worse than cold. He's running from men who want him dead. Savion's coat hangs too big on his frame, his hands pressed tight against the swell of his stomach. Pregnant, 6 months, alone, his mate, his Alpha, was killed 4 weeks ago in an explosion the news called tragic. The Mafia called it war, Savion calls it murder. And he knows it wasn't random. Someone wanted his mate silenced, someone wanted Savion erased, and now every shadow could be a threat, every footstep could be the last thing he hears. His breath hitches as pain flares low in his belly, not labor, not yet, but a warning. His body telling him to stop, to rest, to survive. But survival means staying invisible. And invisible means moving. That's when he hears it. Footsteps. Small, frantic, wrong. Savion freezes, instinct screaming at him to run. But the sound, it's not a man, not a patrol, it's something else. Something that makes his omega instincts flare hot and sharp in his chest. He turns and sees the boy. Stumbling, falling, barely standing. His lips are blue, his face red and wet with tears. His small body shakes so violently it looks like he's breaking apart. For a split second, Savion thinks, not my problem, keep moving, stay hidden. But then the boy's eyes meet his. And Savion's body moves before his mind can stop it. He rushes forward, knees hitting snow, arms reaching out. Hey, hey, sweetheart, he says, voice cracking. What are you doing out here? The boy tries to speak, but his teeth chatter too hard. His eyes, wide, terrified, desperate, lock onto Savion like he's the only real thing left in the world. My mom, the boy gasps. I need to find her. Savion's chest tightens, so hard it hurts. He doesn't know this child, doesn't know where he came from or why he's alone, but he knows one thing with absolute certainty. If he leaves this boy out here, the storm will kill him. So Savion does the only thing he can. He takes off his coat. The warm one's the only one. And wraps it around the freezing child. The boy stops shaking. Not because the storm got weaker, but because for the first time in hours, someone chose him. Kaelen's small hands clutch the fabric, breathing in the scent, warm, soft, safe. He looks up at Savion, eyes wide. You're pregnant. Savion lets out a fragile laugh. Yeah. Is the baby yours? Savion's smile fades. Pain moves behind his eyes like something alive. Yes and no. Kaelen frowns, confused. How? Savion swallows hard, because the Alpha who made this baby is gone. Kaelen stares at him like he's trying to understand loss, but doesn't have the words yet. Then in the quiet between them, Kaelen whispers something that shatters Savion's heart. My mom left and nobody cares. Savion pulls him close, using his own body like a shield against the wind. I care, he says. And he means it. But what Savion doesn't know, what he can't see, is the small bracelet on Kaelen's wrist. The one with a tracker embedded inside. And the moment Savion's warmth stabilizes the boy's body temperature, the signal goes live. At the Moretti mansion, alarms explode. Screens flash red. Guards scramble. And in the center of the chaos, a man stands up from his chair like a storm given human form. Alpha Don Rashad Moretti. His suit is perfect, his face is stone, his eyes are death. He doesn't panic. He retaliates. Find him, Rashad says, voice calm in the way that means someone will blade. Every second he's out there, someone's responsible. A guard hesitates. Boss, what if? Rashad slams his fist on the table. What if my son freezes to death? He growls. Bring him back and bring me whoever touched him. Outside in the snow, Savion tries to guide Kaelen toward shelter. But the streets are empty. The storm swallows everything. And then, headlights. Black SUVs appear like beasts from the dark, engines growling, surrounding them in seconds. Savion's heart stops. Kaelen's grip tightens. And a tall figure steps out of the lead vehicle. Rashad Moretti. His coat billows in the wind, his presence crushes the air, his eyes land on his son first. Then they shift to Savion. And the world stops. Because the scent hits Rashad like a fist to the chest. Omega. Pregnant. And something else. Something that makes his instincts roar. Who do you think Kaelen's mother really is? Drop your theories below. Rashad doesn't move. Doesn't blink. Just stares. And Savion knows, he knows, that this man could snap his neck without a second thought. But instead of fear for himself, Savion feels something fiercer, something primal. He steps in front of Kaelen, even though his legs are shaking, even though his belly aches, even though he's outnumbered by men with guns. Your son was freezing, Savion says, voice steady despite the terror crawling up his spine. I gave him my coat. Rashad's eyes drop to the coat wrapped around Kaelen. Then back to Savion. Who are you? Rashad asks, voice low and dangerous. Nobody, Savion whispers. Kaelen's small hand grabs Savion's wrist. Don't hurt him, the boy says, voice cracking. Please, he saved me. Something flickers in Rashad's expression, not soft, not kind, but human. He kneels down, eye level with his son. Kaelen, he says quietly, what were you doing out here? Kaelen's lips tremble, his eyes fill with tears. I was looking for Mom. The air goes sharp. Rashad's jaw tightens. Savion watches the way the guards shift uncomfortably, the way Rashad's hands curl into fists. Your mother, Rashad starts, then stops. His voice is softer now, but it's the kind of soft that hides rage. Your mother isn't coming back. Why? Kaelen's voice breaks. Why won't anyone tell me why? Rashad stands, towering over them both. He looks at Savion again, and this time there's something different in his gaze. Not recognition, but awareness. Like he's seeing something he didn't expect. Get in the car, Rashad says to Kaelen. No, Kaelen says, clutching Savion tighter, not without him. Rashad's eyes narrow. Kaelen. He's pregnant, Kaelen says, voice rising. You can't leave him out here, he'll die. Savion's breath catches. Because the boy is right. Without his coat, Savion won't last 10 minutes. Rashad stares at Savion for a long, unbearable moment. Then he snaps an order to his men, bring them both. A guard steps forward, but Rashad raises a hand. Carefully, he adds, voice edged with warning, he's carrying. Savion's heart pounds as strong hands guide him toward the SUV. He climbs in beside Kaelen, who refuses to let go of his hand. The warmth inside the vehicle is overwhelming. Savion's body sags with relief, but his mind screams danger. Because he just got into a car with the most dangerous man in Chicago. And he has no idea if he'll survive the night. The drive is silent. Kaelen sits pressed against Savion's side, still wrapped in the coat. His small body finally stops shaking. Rashad sits across from them, arms crossed, eyes never leaving Savion's face. What's your name? Rashad asks. Savion hesitates. Giving his name means giving up his invisibility, but lying feels more dangerous. Savion, he says quietly. Savion what? Vale. Rashad's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his posture, like a hunter catching a scent. Vale, Rashad repeats. That name means something to you. Savion's throat tightens. It was my mate's name. Was. Savion's voice cracks. He's dead. Kaelen looks up at him, eyes wide with understanding. How did he die? Kaelen, Rashad says sharply. But Savion answers anyway. There was an explosion, a bombing. They said it was terrorists. Rashad goes very still. And Savion realizes, too late, that he's just said something that matters. Something that connects. When, Rashad asks, voice cold. 4 weeks ago, Savion whispers. Rashad leans forward, eyes burning. What was your mate's name? Savion's hands tremble. Dominic Vale. The name hangs in the air like a bomb. Rashad's face goes hard, unreadable. And Savion knows, he knows, that Rashad recognizes that name. You're the Omega, Rashad says slowly, the one they've been looking for. Savion's blood turns to ice. Kaelen's grip tightens. What does that mean? Rashad doesn't answer. Instead, he pulls out his phone and makes a call. I need a full lockdown, no one in or out, and get me everything we have on Dominic Vale. He hangs up. Looks at Savion. You're not leaving, Rashad says, not until I know why someone wants you dead. Savion's breath comes in short, panicked bursts. I don't know. You don't know, or you don't want to say. I don't know, Savion insists. Dominic never told me anything. He said I had to stay hidden, that if anything happened to him, I couldn't trust anyone. Rashad's eyes narrow, and yet you trusted my son. Savion looks at Kaelen, who's staring up at him with wide, hopeful eyes. He was freezing, Savion says simply. I couldn't just leave him. Something dangerous flickers in Rashad's gaze. Not anger. Something else. The SUV pulls through massive iron gates, and Savion's stomach drops. The Moretti mansion looms ahead, dark, imposing, and impossible to escape from. Kaelen pulls on Savion's sleeve. Will you stay with me? He asks quietly, just for tonight. Savion looks at Rashad, who's watching them both with an expression that could be mistrust, or something far more complicated. Yes, Savion says, even though he knows it's a mistake. Even though he knows that once he steps inside, he might never leave. Kaelen smiles for the first time since Savion found him. And Rashad's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen. His face goes cold. Get them inside, he orders. Now. What's wrong? Savion asks. Rashad's eyes meet his. Someone just breached our perimeter, he says, and they're looking for you. What do you think Dominic knew that got him killed? Comment below. The guards move fast. Too fast. Savion barely has time to process what Rashad said before strong hands pull him out of the SUV, guiding him toward the mansion's entrance. Kaelen clings to his side, small fingers digging into Savion's arm. The doors slam shut behind them. Locks engage with heavy metallic clicks. And the house, massive, cold, silent, feels more like a tomb than a sanctuary. Rashad strides ahead, barking orders into his phone. Lock down every gate, shut off the cameras facing west, and find out how the hell they got this close without triggering the sensors. A man in tactical gear approaches. Boss, we've got movement near the docks, could be a diversion. Rashad's jaw tightens. Or it's real, send a team, now. The guard nods and disappears. Savion's heart pounds so hard he can feel it in his throat. His hands instinctively press against his belly, where the baby kicks, hard, agitated, like it can sense the danger. Kaelen tugs on his sleeve. Are you okay? Savion forces a smile. Yeah, I'm okay. But he's not. Because the walls are closing in, and he has no idea who's hunting him or why. Rashad turns back to them, eyes sharp. Upstairs, 2nd floor, 3rd door on the right, stay there until I say otherwise. Savion opens his mouth to argue, but Rashad steps closer, voice dropping to something quieter, something almost protective. If you want to keep that baby safe, Rashad says, you'll listen to me. Savion's breath hitches. Because Rashad isn't threatening him. He's warning him. A woman appears, older, stern-faced, dressed in black, She gestures toward the stairs. Come, I'll take you. Savion follows, Kaelen still glued to his side. The second floor is just as cold as the first. Long hallways, dark wood, expensive paintings that feel more like surveillance than decoration. The woman opens a door, revealing a bedroom that's far too nice for a prisoner. There's a bathroom through there, she says, pointing. Food will be brought up shortly. Wait, Savion says, I can't just. You can, the woman interrupts, and you will. She leaves before Savion can argue. The door clicks shut, and Savion realizes, too late, that it locked from the outside. Kaelen climbs onto the bed, still wrapped in Savion's coat. His eyes are heavy, exhausted, but he fights sleep like it's the enemy. Will you stay? Kaelen asks again, voice small. Savion sits beside him. I'm not going anywhere. Kaelen's head drops onto Savion's shoulder. My dad scares me sometimes. Savion's chest tightens. Why? Because he's always angry, Kaelen whispers. Even when he's not yelling, even when he's quiet, I can feel it. Savion strokes the boy's hair gently. He's scared too. Kaelen looks up, confused. My dad's not scared of anything. Everyone's scared of something, Savion says softly, especially when they love someone. Kaelen's eyes fill with tears. Then why did my mom leave? Savion doesn't have an answer. Because he doesn't know the truth. Not yet. Downstairs, Rashad paces his office like a caged animal. His second-in-command, Dante, stands by the door. We've got 3 dead signals on the west side. Someone cut our cameras. How many? At least 5, maybe more. Rashad's hands curl into fists, and you're sure they're not ours. Dante's face hardens. Positive, the tech they're using is military grade. Whoever's funding this isn't playing games. Rashad's mind races. Dominic Vale. That name keeps echoing in his skull. Because 4 weeks ago, Dominic Vale died in an explosion that was supposed to look like terrorism. But Rashad knew better. He'd seen the footage, studied the blast pattern, recognized the signature. It wasn't random. It was a hit. And the only reason someone would go through that much trouble to kill an Omega's mate was if that mate knew something dangerous. Something worth dying for. Rashad pulls up a file on his computer, classified intel from a contact in the FBI. Dominic Vale, former intelligence operative, worked undercover in several crime syndicates. Last known assignment, infiltrating a terrorist cell linked to. Rashad's blood runs cold. Linked to his ex-wife. Get me everything we have on Serena, Rashad says, voice sharp. Dante's eyes widen. Your ex. Now, Dante leaves. And Rashad stares at the screen, pieces clicking into place. Serena had vanished 6 months ago. No trace, no leads, just gone. And now, a pregnant Omega shows up carrying the child of a man who died investigating the same people Serena was connected to. Coincidence? No, this was planned. A sharp knock on the door pulls him from his thoughts. Come in. The door opens and one of his guards steps inside. Boss, we found something. What? The guard hands him a small device, a tracker. Someone planted this on the perimeter fence, the guard says. It's still active. Rashad's eyes narrow. Meaning? Meaning they're watching us right now. Rashad crushes the device in his fist. Then he grabs his coat. Where are you going? Dante asks. To make sure no one gets near that Omega, Rashad says, or my son. Upstairs, Savion lies beside Kaelen, who's finally fallen asleep. But Savion can't sleep. Because his body won't let him. A sharp pain flares low in his belly, stronger this time, sharper. He gasps, hand pressing against his stomach. Not yet. It's too early. But the pain doesn't care. It comes again, harder, and Savion bites down on his lip to keep from crying out. He can't wake Kaelen. Can't scare him. But the baby. Another contraction hits, and this time, Savion can't hold back the whimper that escapes his throat. The door suddenly opens. Rashad stands in the doorway, eyes locking onto Savion's face. And he knows. You're in labor, Rashad says. Savion shakes his head, tears streaming down his face. No, I can't be, it's too soon. Rashad crosses the room in 2 strides, kneeling beside the bed. How long? I don't, Savion's breath hitches. Maybe an hour, I thought it was just stress. Rashad's hand moves to Savion's wrist, checking his pulse. His touch is firm but not rough. I'm calling a doctor, Rashad says. No, Savion gasps, no hospitals, they'll find me. Rashad's eyes harden. I have a private medic, he won't talk. Savion grabs Rashad's arm, panic flooding his chest. You don't understand. If they find me, if they find my baby. They won't, Rashad says, voice steady, because I won't let them. Savion stares at him, searching for a lie. But all he sees is certainty. Rashad pulls out his phone, making a call. Get the medic here, now. He hangs up. Looks at Savion. You saved my son, Rashad says quietly. Now I'm saving yours. Savion's breath shakes. And for the first time in weeks, he almost believes he might survive this. But then, a crash. Downstairs. Gunfire. And a scream. Do you think Rashad's ex-wife is behind the attack? Let us know. The gunfire stops as fast as it started. But the silence that follows is worse. Rashad moves instantly, pulling a gun from his waistband. He doesn't run, doesn't panic, just moves with the kind of precision that comes from years of surviving threats. Stay here, he orders, voice sharp. Lock the door behind me. Wait, Savion starts, but Rashad's already gone. The door clicks shut. Savion scrambles off the bed, ignoring the pain in his belly, and locks it. His hands shake so hard he can barely turn the mechanism. Kaelen stirs, blinking awake. What's happening? Nothing, Savion lies, forcing his voice calm. Just stay on the bed, okay? But Kaelen hears the fear. He crawls towards Savion, wrapping his arms around him. I'm scared. Me too, Savion whispers. Downstairs, Rashad moves through the hallways like a shadow. His men are already in position, guns drawn, eyes scanning for threats. Dante meets him at the stairs, 2 intruders, both down but boss. Rashad's eyes narrow. What? They weren't here to kill us, Dante says. They were planting something. He holds up a small black device, another tracker. Rashad's jaw clenches. Where? Near the east wing, close to where the Omega's room is. Rashad's blood turns cold. Because this wasn't random. They knew exactly where Savion was. Search the entire house, Rashad orders. Every corner, every shadow, and get me the footage from tonight. Dante nods and disappears. Rashad climbs the stairs 2 at a time, gun still in hand. When he reaches Savion's door, he knocks twice. It's me. The lock clicks. The door opens. And Savion stands there, pale, trembling, but standing. Are they gone? Savion asks. For now, Rashad says. Kaelen runs to his father, throwing his arms around his legs. I heard guns. Rashad kneels, holding his son tight. You're safe. What about Savion? Rashad's eyes lift to meet Savion's. And something shifts in the air between them. Not trust. Not yet. But something close. He's safe too, Rashad says. Kaelen pulls back, looking at his father with wide, desperate eyes. Promise. Rashad's hand cups the back of his son's head. I promise. But Savion sees the truth in Rashad's face. He doesn't know if he can keep that promise. And neither does Savion. Rashad stands, pulling Kaelen back toward the bed. You need to sleep. I don't want to. I know, Rashad says gently, but you're safe here. I won't let anything happen to you. Kaelen's lip trembles. You said that about Mom. The words hit like a knife. Rashad's face hardens, but his voice stays soft. Your mother. He stops, looks at Savion, then back at his son. Kaelen, Rashad says slowly, there's something I need to tell you about your mother. Kaelen's eyes widen. What? Rashad takes a breath. And Savion knows, he knows, that whatever comes next will change everything. Your mother didn't leave because she didn't love you, Rashad says. Kaelen goes still. She left because, Rashad's voice drops, and Savion can hear the pain buried beneath the control, because she tried to hurt you. The room goes silent. Kaelen's face crumples. What? She made a deal, Rashad continues, each word careful, measured, with people who wanted to destroy me, and you were part of that plan. Kaelen shakes his head, tears streaming down his face. No, you're lying. I wish I was. She wouldn't, Kaelen's voice cracks. She wouldn't hurt me, she's my mom. Rashad's jaw tightens. She wasn't who you thought she was. Kaelen sobs and the sound breaks Savion's heart. The boy throws himself into Savion's arms instead of his father's. And Rashad stands there, watching his son choose a stranger over him. Savion holds Kaelen close, rocking him gently. It's okay, he whispers, it's okay. But it's not. Rashad's hands curl into fists. Not from anger. From something deeper. Something that looks like grief. I lied to you, Rashad says quietly. I told you she left because I thought that would be easier, but you deserve the truth. Kaelen doesn't respond. Just cries harder. And Rashad takes a step back. I'll be downstairs, he says. But before he can leave, Savion speaks. Wait. Rashad turns. And Savion's voice is steady, even though his body is shaking. He needs you. Rashad's eyes flash. He ran to you. Because he's scared, Savion says, not because he doesn't love you. Rashad stares at him for a long moment. Then he crosses the room and sits on the edge of the bed. Kaelen doesn't move. But he doesn't pull away either. And slowly, so slowly, Kaelen's small hand reaches out and grabs his father's sleeve. Rashad's breath catches. He pulls his son close. And for the first time, Savion sees the man behind the monster. But the moment shatters when Rashad's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen. His face goes cold. What is it? Savion asks. Rashad doesn't answer. Just stands, pulling Kaelen back gently. Stay here, he says. Don't open the door for anyone but me. What's happening? Savion demands. Rashad's eyes lock onto his. They just sent me a message, he says. What kind of message? Rashad's jaw clenches. And he shows Savion the screen. It's a video. A woman's face. Beautiful, cold, smiling. And Savion's blood turns to ice. Because he recognizes her. Not from Rashad's life. From Dominic's. That's, Savion's voice breaks, that's Serena. Rashad's eyes narrow. You know her. Dominic showed me a photo once, Savion whispers. He said she was dangerous, that she was connected to the people who wanted him dead. Rashad's fists clench. And on the screen, Serena's voice plays. Sweet. Cruel. Deadly. Hello, Rashad, she says, smiling. I see you found my little gift, the Omega, the baby. Such a shame Dominic didn't live to see it born. Savion's knees buckle. Rashad catches him. And Serena's voice continues. I'll be taking what's mine soon, she says. The Omega, the child, and your precious son. The screen goes black. What do you think Serena's real plan is? Drop your theories. Savion can't breathe. His chest tightens, his vision blurs, and his knees give out completely. Rashad catches him before he hits the ground, lowering him carefully onto the bed. Breathe, Rashad orders, voice steady but firm. Savion, breathe. Savion gasps, clutching his stomach. She killed him, she killed Dominic. Rashad's eyes darken, I know. And now she wants, Savion's voice cracks, she wants my baby. She's not getting anywhere near you, Rashad says, or your child. But Savion shakes his head, tears streaming down his face. You don't understand, she's been planning this. Dominic told me, he said if anything happened to him I had to disappear, that they'd come for me, for the baby. Rashad's jaw tightens. Why? What makes your baby so important? Savion's hands tremble. I don't know, Dominic never told me everything. He said the baby was proof, that it would expose something. Rashad leans closer. Proof of what? I don't know, Savion says desperately. He died before he could tell me. Kaelen sits frozen on the bed, eyes wide with fear. Is that woman going to hurt us? Rashad looks at his son, and for a moment, his mask slips. He's terrified. Not of Serena. Of failing. No, Rashad says firmly, she's not. But Kaelen doesn't believe him. Neither does Savion. Rashad stands, pulling out his phone. Dante, get every man we have on high alert, full perimeter lock. No one gets in or out without my approval. He hangs up. Looks at Savion. I need to know everything Dominic told you, Rashad says. Every detail, no matter how small. Savion swallows hard. He said the terrorists weren't working alone, that someone inside the Mafia was funding them. Rashad's eyes flash. Inside? Yes, someone high up, someone with access to intelligence, to operations. Rashad's fists clench. Because he knows exactly who that could be. Serena, his ex-wife. The woman he once trusted. The woman who tried to kill his son. She's been playing me from the start, Rashad says quietly. She didn't just leave, she planned this, all of it. Savion's breath shakes. Why? What does she gain? Rashad's voice turns cold. Power, control, revenge. For what? For me choosing Kaelen over her, Rashad says simply. Savion's chest tightens. Because he understands that kind of hatred. The kind that consumes. The kind that destroys. Suddenly Savion gasps, doubling over. Rashad moves instantly. What's wrong? Contraction, Savion grits out, hands pressing against his belly. It's getting worse. Rashad's eyes widen. The doctor's on his way. It's too soon, Savion says, panic rising. The baby's not ready. The baby will be fine, Rashad says, but his voice is tight with worry. Kaelen crawls closer, grabbing Savion's hand. Does it hurt? Savion forces a smile, a little. Will the baby be okay? Yes, Savion lies. Because he has no idea. The door bursts open. A man in scrubs rushes in, medical bag in hand. I'm Dr. Kaelen, I need to examine him. Now. Rashad steps back, but he doesn't leave. Dr. Kaelen kneels beside the bed, pressing a hand gently against Savion's belly. How far apart are the contractions? I don't know, Savion gasps. Maybe 5 minutes. Dr. Kaelen's face tightens. You're in active labor. No, Savion says, shaking his head. I can't be, it's too early. Your body doesn't care, Dr. Kaelen says gently. We need to get you to a delivery room. No hospitals, Rashad says sharply. I have a private suite downstairs, Dr. Kaelen says, fully equipped. Rashad nods. But before they can move, another contraction hits. Savion screams. Kaelen flinches, tears streaming down his face. And Rashad does something he hasn't done in years. He kneels. Takes Savion's hand. You're not alone, Rashad says quietly. I'm here. Savion stares at him, vision blurring with pain and tears. And for a moment, he believes him. Dr. Kaelen moves quickly, preparing an IV. We need to move him now. Rashad lifts Savion effortlessly, cradling him like something precious. Kaelen follows, clutching the coat Savion gave him. They move through the mansion, down hidden hallways, into a room that looks more like a hospital than a home. Dr. Kaelen works fast, monitors, oxygen, checking vitals. The baby's heartbeat is strong, he says, but we're going to need to deliver soon. Savion's breath comes in short, panicked bursts. I'm scared. Rashad sits beside him, still holding his hand. I know. What if something goes wrong? It won't. You don't know that. Rashad's eyes lock onto his. I don't, but I'll make sure you both survive, no matter what. Savion's heart pounds. Because he hears the promise in Rashad's voice. And he knows that Rashad means it. Another contraction hits, harder this time. Savion screams, gripping Rashad's hand so hard his knuckles turn white. Dr. Kaelen checks again. You're fully dilated, it's time. I can't, Savion gasps, I'm not ready. You are, Rashad says firmly. You've survived everything else, you'll survive this. Kaelen stands at the door, eyes wide with fear. Rashad looks at his son. Stay there, don't leave. Kaelen nods. And the delivery begins. Savion pushes, screams, cries, and through it all, Rashad stays beside him. Doesn't flinch, doesn't leave, just holds his hand. And then, a cry, small, fierce, alive. Dr. Kaelen lifts the baby, placing it on Savion's chest. It's a boy, he says softly. Savion sobs, holding his son close. And for a moment, the world stops. No danger, no threats, just life. But then, a loud crash. Downstairs, shouting, gunfire, and a voice over the intercom. They've breached the iced gate. Rashad's eyes go cold. He stands, looks at Savion. Stay here, he says, don't move. Wait, Savion starts. But Rashad's already gone. And outside, red laser dots appear on the window. Will Savion and the baby survive the attack? Comment your predictions below. The bullet shatters the window. Glass explodes inward, raining down like knives. Savion screams, clutching his newborn son against his chest, curling his body over the baby like a shield. Dr. Kaelen dives to the floor, pulling medical equipment down with him. Kaelen stands frozen in the doorway, eyes wide with terror. Get down, Savion shouts. But Kaelen doesn't move. Can't move. Another shot fires. This one hits the wall, inches from Kaelen's head. And that's when Savion moves. Pain rips through his body. He just gave birth minutes ago, but he doesn't care. He lunges forward, grabbing Kaelen, pulling him to the ground behind the bed. The baby wails in his arms. Kaelen sobs against his shoulder. And outside, voices shout orders in the dark. Downstairs, Rashad moves through the mansion like death itself. His men fire back at the intruders, bullets tearing through walls, shattering windows, turning the house into a war zone. How many? Rashad snaps. Dante crouches behind a pillar, reloading his weapon. At least 8, maybe more, they came through the east gate. Where's the breach? They cut the power to the security grid. We're running on backup. Rashad's jaw clenches. Because this wasn't random. They knew exactly where to hit. Exactly when. And that means someone inside gave them the layout. Find the traitor, Rashad orders, now. Dante nods and disappears into the chaos. Rashad moves toward the stairs, but a figure steps into his path. Tall, armed, masked. The man raises his gun. Rashad's faster. He fires twice. The man drops. But as he falls, Rashad sees something that makes his blood run cold. A tattoo on the man's wrist. A symbol. The same one Serena used to wear on a necklace. Rashad rips the mask off the dead man's face. He doesn't recognize him. But he recognizes the message. Serena's people are inside his house. Upstairs, Savion huddles in the corner with Kaelen and the baby. The gunfire hasn't stopped. Every shot makes Kaelen flinch. Every scream makes Savion's heart pound harder. We're gonna die, Kaelen whispers. No, Savion says firmly, we're not. How do you know? Because your father won't let that happen. Kaelen looks at him with tear-filled eyes. You really believe that? Savion nods. Because he does. Not because he trusts Rashad completely. But because he's seen the way Rashad looks at his son. Like Kaelen is the only thing in the world that matters. The door bursts open. Savion's heart stops. But it's not an intruder. It's Dante. Come with me, he says urgently. Now. Savion struggles to stand, legs shaking, body screaming in pain. Dr. Kaelen helps him up, supporting his weight. Kaelen grabs Savion's hand, refusing to let go. They move through the hallways, Dante leading them toward a hidden staircase. Where are we going? Savion asks. Safe room, Dante says. Reinforced steel, nothing gets through. They descend into darkness. The air grows colder. The walls close in. And then they reach a door, thick, heavy, impenetrable. Dante punches in a code. The door opens. Inside, he orders. Savion steps in, Kaelen still clinging to him. Dr. Kaelen follows. And the door slams shut. Locks engage. Silent. Savion sinks to the floor, exhausted, terrified, but alive. The baby whimpers in his arms. Kaelen presses against his side. And Savion realizes something. This child, Rashad's son, isn't just scared. He's bonded to him. Chosen him. Trusted him in a way he doesn't trust anyone else. Are we safe now? Kaelen asks quietly. Savion looks around the small room. No windows. One door. Concrete walls. For now, Savion says. But he doesn't believe it. Because Serena's people are still out there. And they won't stop until they get what they came for. Outside the safe room, Rashad hunts. He moves through the mansion with deadly precision, taking down intruders one by one. His men follow his lead, pushing the attackers back toward the gates. But Rashad knows this isn't the real fight. This is a distraction. A test. Serena's showing him she can reach him anytime she wants. That nowhere is safe. That she's always watching. And then he sees it. A figure in the shadows. Not attacking. Just watching. Rashad raises his gun. But the figure doesn't move. Just lifts a phone. And takes a picture. Of Rashad. Of the house. Of everything. Then disappears. Rashad chases after them, but they're already gone. And on the ground where they stood, Rashad finds something that makes his chest tighten. A photograph. Of Kaelen. Sleeping in his bed. Taken from inside the house. Rashad's hands shake with rage. Because Serena didn't just breach his perimeter. She's been inside his home. Watching his son. Planning. And the message is clear. She can take Kaelen anytime she wants. Rashad pulls out his phone. Calls Dante. Status. All intruders down or retreating, Dante reports. We lost 3 men, 5 injured. Find out how they got the security codes, Rashad orders, and find out who took this photo. He hangs up and stares at the picture in his hand. At his son's innocent face. Asleep. Vulnerable. Unprotected. Rashad's jaw clenches. Because he just realized something. Serena isn't after Savion's baby. Not primarily. She's after Kaelen. Always has been. The baby is just leverage. A way to draw them all into one place. A way to destroy everything Rashad loves. And she's winning. Do you think Rashad can protect everyone? Let us know in the comments. The safe room feels like a tomb. No sound. No light except the dim emergency bulbs overhead. Savion sits on the floor, back against the wall, baby sleeping against his chest. Kaelen hasn't moved from his side in over an hour. Dr. Kaelen checks Savion's vitals quietly, but his face is tight with worry. You're bleeding, he says softly, not much. But enough to be concerned. Savion's too exhausted to panic. Will I be okay? If we can get you proper rest and medication, yes. And if we can't? Dr. Kaelen doesn't answer. Kaelen looks up at Savion, eyes red from crying. Are you gonna die? No, Savion says firmly, I'm not. My mom used to say that too, Kaelen whispers, that she wasn't going anywhere. Savion's chest tightens, because he understands what Kaelen's really asking. Are you going to leave me too? I'm staying, Savion says, I promise. Kaelen nods slowly. But he doesn't believe it. Not really. The intercom crackles to life. Everyone okay down there? It's Rashad's voice. Dante presses the button, all clear, boss. Good, stay there, I'm coming down. The line goes dead. 5 minutes later, the door opens. Rashad steps inside, blood on his shirt, gun still in his hand. His eyes find Kaelen first. Then Savion. Then the baby. Is anyone hurt? Rashad asks. Savion's bleeding, Dr. Kieran says. He needs rest. Rashad's jaw tightens. How bad? Manageable for now. Rashad crosses the room, kneeling in front of Savion. His eyes scan Savion's face, his body, the baby in his arms. You saved my son, Rashad says quietly. Again. Savion swallows hard. He was in the doorway, You moved, Rashad interrupts. Even though you just gave birth, even though you were in pain, you protected him. Savion doesn't know what to say. Because he didn't think. He just acted. Rashad's hand reaches out, hesitating for a moment, then gently touches the baby's head. He's small, Rashad says. He came early, Savion whispers. But he's strong. Savion nods. And for a moment, the room feels almost peaceful. But then Rashad's phone buzzes. He pulls it out. His face goes cold. What is it? Dante asks. Rashad doesn't answer. Just turns the screen around. It's a video message. Serena's face fills the screen. Smiling. Beautiful. Deadly. Hello, Rashad, she says sweetly. I hope you enjoyed my little visit. Consider it a preview. Savion's breath catches. Kaelen grabs his father's arm. Dad. Rashad doesn't move. Just watches. I know you're protecting them, Serena continues. The Omega, the baby, my son. Kaelen flinches at the words. But here's the thing, Serena says, her smile widening. You can't protect them forever. Eventually you'll make a mistake. You'll let your guard down, and when you do. She leans closer to the camera. I'll take what's mine. The video cuts to black. But then it starts again. This time it's not Serena's face. It's footage of Kaelen. Sleeping, eating, playing, all taken from inside the mansion. Over weeks, maybe months, Savion's stomach drops. Because Serena's been watching Kaelen this entire time. And no one knew. Rashad's hands shake with rage. She's been inside, he says, voice low and dangerous. For how long? Dante's face goes pale. I don't know, boss. Find out. Sir. Find out. Dante nods and leaves. Rashad looks at Kaelen, and for the first time, Savion sees fear in his eyes. Real fear. She's never going to stop, Kaelen whispers. Is she? Rashad kneels, taking his son's face in his hands. She will, I'm going to make her. How? Rashad's eyes harden, by doing what I should have done the first time. Savion's heart pounds. What does that mean? Rashad stands. It means I'm hunting her down, and I'm ending this. You can't just. I can, Rashad interrupts, and I will. What about us? Savion asks desperately. What happens if you leave and they come back? Rashad's eyes lock onto his. You'll be safe here. This room is impenetrable. No one gets in without the code. And if they do? Rashad's jaw clenches. They won't. But Savion hears the uncertainty in his voice. Rashad turns to leave. But Kaelen grabs his hand. Don't go. Rashad stops. Please, Kaelen says, tears streaming down his face. Don't leave us. Rashad kneels again, pulling his son into his arms. I have to. Why? Because if I don't stop her now, she'll never stop coming. Kaelen sobs against his father's chest. And Rashad holds him tight. Then he pulls back, wiping the tears from his son's face. I love you, Rashad says, more than anything. Kaelen nods. Rashad stands. Looks at Savion. Keep him safe, he says. Savion nods. And Rashad leaves. The door locks behind him. Silent. Kaelen climbs back onto Savion's lap, curling against him. The baby sleeps peacefully. And Savion stares at the door, wondering if Rashad will come back, or if Serena will get to him first. Hours pass. No word. No updates. Just silence. Dr. Kaelen tries to get Savion to rest, but he can't. Every sound makes him jump. Every minute feels like an hour. And then, the intercom crackles again. But it's not Rashad's voice. It's Serena's. Hello, Omega, she says sweetly. Savion's blood turns to ice. I know you're listening, Serena continues. I know you're scared, and you should be. Kaelen whimpers. That baby you're holding, Serena says, he's the key to everything, and I'm going to take him from you. Savion's arms tighten around his son. You think Rashad can protect you? Serena laughs. He can't even protect himself. The intercom goes silent. Then, an alarm. Loud, piercing. Red lights flash. And a mechanical voice echoes through the room. Safe room breach detected, lockdown compromised. Savion's heart stops. Dr. Kaelen rushes to the door. That's impossible. Apparently not, Savion says, voice shaking. The locks disengage. One by one. And the door begins to open. Will Savion and the baby escape? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Savion scrambles to his feet, clutching the baby, pulling Kaelen behind him. Dr. Kaelen grabs a metal tray, pathetic as a weapon, but it's all he has. The door opens wider. Inch by inch, revealing darkness beyond. And then, a figure steps through. Tall, armed, masked. Savion's breath stops. But then the figure pulls off the mask. It's Dante. We need to move, he says urgently. Now. What happened? Savion asks, heart pounding. Someone hacked the system, Dante says. Remotely, they're shutting down every security measure in the house. Where's Rashad? Dante's face tightens. I don't know, he went dark 20 minutes ago. Savion's stomach drops. Because that means Rashad's either in trouble or dead. Kaelen grabs Savion's hand, squeezing hard. We need to find him. We need to get you out of here first, Dante says. No, Kaelen insists. I'm not leaving without my dad. Dante kneels, looking Kaelen in the eye. Your father would want you safe. That's all that matters to him. I don't care, Kaelen says, voice breaking. I'm not leaving. Dante looks at Savion, desperation in his eyes. Savion kneels beside Kaelen. Your dad's strong. He survived worse than this. You don't know that. I do, Savion says firmly, because he's got something worth surviving for. You. Kaelen's lip trembles. We'll find him, Savion promises, but first we need to get somewhere safe, okay? Kaelen nods slowly. Dante leads them out of the safe room, through hidden passages Savion didn't know existed. The mansion is chaos. Smoke, shouting, gunfire in the distance. They move quickly, staying low, avoiding the main hallways. But then, a voice echoes through the house. Serena's. Over the intercom system. Rashad, darling, she says, voice dripping with false sweetness. I know you can hear me. Dante curses under his breath. I've got something you want, Serena continues, or rather someone. Savion's blood runs cold. Come find me, Serena says, and maybe, just maybe, I'll let him live. The intercom cuts out. Dante stops, pulling out his phone. he tries calling Rashad. No answer. We need to keep moving, he says. But Savion's mind is racing. Because Serena just confirmed what Savion's been terrified of. She doesn't just want the baby. She wants revenge. On Rashad. On everyone he loves. And she'll destroy them all to get it. They reach a garage filled with armored vehicles. Dante opens the door to one. Get in. Savion climbs inside, still holding the baby. Kaelen follows. Dr. Kieran slides in beside them. Dante starts the engine. But before they can move, the garage door explodes. Metal tears apart. Smoke fills the air. And through the smoke, figures emerge. Armed, organized, deadly. Dante throws the vehicle into reverse, tires screeching. Bullets ricochet off the armored plating. Savion covers the baby's ears, pressing Kaelen down into the seat. Hold on, Dante shouts. He rams through the side door, bursting out into the night. The vehicle skids on ice, nearly flipping, but Dante regains control. Behind them, SUVs give chase. How many? Savion asks. Too many, Dante says grimly. He takes a sharp turn, weaving through narrow streets. The SUVs stay close. Too close. A bullet shatters the back window. Glass rains down. Kaelen screams. Savion shields him with his body. Pain flaring through his exhausted frame. But he doesn't let go. Won't let go. Dante takes another turn, this time into an alley. The SUVs follow. But Dante knows these streets better. He cuts through a parking lot, jumps a curb, and bursts back onto the main road. One SUV tries to follow. Crashes into a pole. The others keep coming. And then, Dante's phone rings. He answers, putting it on speaker. Dante, Rashad's voice crackles through. Where are you? East side, 3 vehicles on our tail. Where the hell have you been? Hunting, Rashad says coldly. I found her. Savion's heart skips. Serena. Yeah. Where? The docks, same place the breach started. Savion's breath catches. Because that's where this all began. Where Kaelen ran. Where Savion found him. Where everything changed. She's got a team, Rashad continues. At least 15 men, maybe more. We can't, Dante starts. You won't, Rashad interrupts. Get them to the safe house on the north side. I'll handle this. Boss, you can't take 15 men alone. I won't be alone, Rashad says. I've got backup coming. What backup? The FBI. Silence. Savion's eyes widen. The FBI. Turns out, Rashad says, voice hard, Serena's been on their radar for months. Terrorist funding, arms dealing, conspiracy. They've been building a case. And you just happen to know this? Dante asks skeptically. Dominic Vale was their informant, Rashad says. Savion's heart stops. What? Your mate, Rashad says. He was undercover, working with the feds to bring down Serena's operation. Savion's world tilts. Because Dominic never told him. Never said a word. That's why they killed him, Rashad continues. He got too close, found too much, and Serena couldn't let him expose her. Tears stream down Savion's face. Your baby, Rashad says quietly. He's the proof Dominic died protecting. DNA evidence linking Serena to illegal transactions, hidden in medical records, in blood samples, in everything. Savion looks down at his sleeping son. And suddenly, everything makes sense. Why Serena's hunting them. Why the baby matters so much. Why Dominic died. She can't let that baby live, Rashad says, because the moment he's DNA tested, everything she's built collapses. Savion holds his son tighter. Where are you now? Rashad asks. 2 blocks from the safe house, Dante says. Good, get inside, lock down. Don't open the door for anyone but me. Boss, I'm ending this tonight, Rashad says, one way or another. The line goes dead. Dante pulls up to a nondescript building, leading them inside. It's smaller than the mansion, less secure. But hidden. They lock the doors, barricade the windows. And wait. Kaelen sits beside Savion, staring at the baby. Is he really proof? Kaelen asks quietly. Yes, Savion says. Will she stop if she knows the FBI is coming? Savion swallows hard. I don't know. Kaelen's small hand reaches out, gently touching the baby's tiny fingers. He's so little, Kaelen whispers. How can someone so little be so important? Savion's chest tightens. Because he's proof that love survives, Savion says softly, even when everything else is destroyed. Kaelen looks up at him. Do you think my dad's gonna be okay? Savion meets his eyes. And lies. Yes. Because the truth that Rashad might die tonight would break this child. And Kaelen's already been broken enough. Outside, sirens wail in the distance. Red and blue lights flash through the windows. And somewhere across the city, at the docks where it all began, Rashad Moretti prepares to face the woman who tried to destroy him. Will Rashad survive? Comment your predictions and subscribe for the final chapters. The docks smell like rust and old blood. Rashad stands in the shadows, gun in hand, eyes scanning the darkness. Behind him, FBI agents move into position, silent, professional, deadly. Agent Kamara steps beside him, weapon drawn. We've got movement inside Warehouse 7, at least 12 heat signatures. Serena, Rashad asks. Confirmed, she's in the center, surrounded. Rashad's jaw clenches. She's expecting me. Probably, Kamara agrees, which is why we're not walking in blind. My team's covering every exit. She's not getting out. I don't want her getting out, Rashad says coldly. I want her in cuffs. Kamara nods. That's the plan. They move forward. The warehouse looms ahead, dark and silent. Too silent. Rashad's instincts scream danger. But he doesn't stop. Can't stop. Because Serena's taken too much from him already. They reach the entrance. Kamara signals her team. They breach. Inside, the warehouse is a maze of shipping containers and rusted machinery. Perfect for ambushes. Perfect for traps. Rashad moves carefully, eyes sharp, finger on the trigger. And then he hears it. A voice. Familiar. Mocking. Hello, Rashad. He spins. And there she is. Serena. Standing on a platform above, surrounded by armed men. Beautiful, deadly, smiling. I was wondering when you'd show up, she says. It's over, Serena, Rashad says coldly. Is it? She laughs. You really think the FBI scares me? They should. Why? Because they have evidence. Serena's smile widens. Evidence can be destroyed. Not this time. Serena's eyes narrow. You mean the baby? Rashad doesn't answer. Dominic's little bastard, Serena says, voice dripping with contempt. The one piece of proof I couldn't get rid of. You killed him, Rashad says. Of course I did. He was a rat, working with the feds, betraying everything. He was protecting his family. He was weak, Serena snaps, just like you. Rashad's fists clench. You chose our son over me, Serena says, voice rising. You humiliated me, cast me aside. You tried to kill Kaelen. Because he was the only thing you cared about, Serena screams. You loved him more than me, more than us, more than anything. He's my son. And I'm nothing, Serena's voice cracks. I gave you everything and you threw me away. You made your choice, Rashad says. You chose revenge over our family. And you chose that boy over me. Every time, Rashad says without hesitation, I'd choose him every time. Serena's face twists with rage. She raises her hand, snaps her fingers, and the men around her aim their weapons. But so do the FBI agents. Kamara steps forward, badge raised. Serena Moretti, you're under arrest for conspiracy, terrorism, arms trafficking, and murder. Serena laughs. You think I'm just going to surrender? You don't have a choice. I always have a choice. Serena pulls out a detonator. Rashad's blood runs cold. You didn't think I'd come here without insurance, did you? Serena says. Kamara's eyes widen. Where's the bomb? Wouldn't you like to know? Serena, Rashad says, voice steady. Don't do this. Why not? She asks. I've already lost everything. You'll die. So will you, so will Kaelen, so will that Omega and his bastard baby. Rashad's heart stops. That's right, Serena says, smiling. I've got people on their way to your little safe house right now. Rashad's phone buzzes. He doesn't look. Can't look. Because he knows what it means. Drop the detonator, Kamara orders. Or what? Serena taunts. You'll shoot me. Go ahead. The moment I let go, it triggers. Stalemate. Rashad's mind races. And then he realizes something. Serena's not wearing her usual jewelry. No necklace. No rings. Nothing. She's already accepted death. This was always a suicide mission. You never planned to leave here alive, Rashad says quietly. Serena's smile fades. No, I didn't. Then why drag everyone else down with you? Because, Serena says, voice breaking, if I can't have you, no one can. Rashad takes a step forward. Serena. Stay back, she screams. But Rashad keeps walking. Slowly. Calmly. You loved me once, he says. I still do, Serena whispers. That's why I hate you so much. Rashad stops just below her platform. Then let it go, let all of it go. I can't. You can. Why should I? Because our son deserves better, Rashad says. He deserves to grow up without this shadow over him. Serena's hand trembles. You can't save me, she says. I'm not trying to, Rashad says. I'm trying to save him. Tears stream down Serena's face. And for a moment, just one moment, Rashad sees the woman he once loved. Before the hatred. Before the betrayal. Before everything fell apart. It's over, Rashad says gently. Let it be over. Serena's grip on the detonator loosens. Just slightly. And then, a gunshot. One of Serena's men fires. Chaos erupts. FBI agents return fire. Bodies drop. And in the confusion, Serena's finger slips. The detonator activates. No, Rashad shouts. But it's too late. The explosion rocks the warehouse. Fire, smoke, screaming. Rashad's thrown backward, hitting the ground hard. His ears ring. His vision blurs. But he forces himself up. Stumbling through the smoke. Searching. Serena. No answer. Just flames. And then he sees her. Lying on the ground. Broken. Dying. He kneels beside her and her eyes flutter open. You always were too good, she whispers. Don't talk. I'm sorry I couldn't be better. Serena. Take care of him, she says. Kaelen, don't let him hate me. Rashad's throat tightens. He won't, he lies. Serena smiled. And then she's gone. Rashad stands, chest heaving, staring at the woman who once shared his life. And feels nothing but emptiness. Kamara approaches, covered in soot. We need to go, the whole building's coming down. Rashad nods. They evacuate. Outside, sirens blare. Paramedics rush forward. But Rashad ignores them. He pulls out his phone. 15 missed calls. All from Dante. His heart stops. He dials back. Dante answers immediately. Boss, thank God, we're under attack. They breached the safe house. We're. The line cuts out. Rashad's blood turns to ice. He runs to his car. Kamara tries to stop him. Rashad, you're injured. He shoves her aside, gets in, and drives. Fast, reckless, because if he's too late, if they're gone, he'll burn the world. Across the city at the safe house, Savion holds his baby close. Kaelen stands beside him, clutching a kitchen knife. The door's been breached. Men are inside. Dante fires back, but he's outnumbered. Dr. Kieran hides in the corner, useless. And Savion realizes they're out of time. One of the men steps forward, gun raised. "Give me the baby." "No," Savion says. "Give me the baby or I'll kill the boy." The man aims at Kaelen. Savion's heart stops. And then, a crash. The window shatters. A figure bursts through. Rashad. He moves like death. Takes down the first man with a single shot. The second with his bare hands. The third tries to run. Doesn't make it. Within seconds, the room is silent. Except for Rashad's heavy breathing. He turns. Sees Kaelen. Savion. The baby. All alive. Kaelen runs to him, throwing his arms around his father. Rashad drops to his knees, holding his son like he's the only thing in the world that matters. "I'm sorry," Rashad whispers. "I'm so sorry." Kaelen sobs into his shoulder. And Rashad looks up at Savion. Eyes filled with something Savion's never seen before. Gratitude, relief, and something else. Something deeper. The final chapter is coming next. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Drop your thoughts in the comments and inspire others with your support. 3 weeks later, the mansion feels different. Quieter. Safer. The FBI cleaned up Serena's network. Arrests were made, trials scheduled, justice slow and imperfect but real. The docks where it all began are empty now. No more shadows. No more threats. Just silence. Inside the mansion, Savion sits in a rocking chair, holding his son. The baby's stronger now, healthier. His tiny fingers wrap around Savion's thumb and Savion smiles. Because this life, this small, fragile life, survived. Against everything. The mansion's east wing glows with morning light. Savion adjusts the baby in his arms, watching the way sunlight catches the soft dark curls on his son's head. 3 weeks have passed since the warehouse. 3 weeks since Serena's network collapsed. 3 weeks since the FBI hauled away 15 men in handcuffs and closed a case that had been bleeding Chicago dry for 2 years. The baby yawns, tiny fists stretching, and Savion feels his chest tighten with something he thought he'd lost forever. Hope. A knock on the doorframe makes him look up. Rashad stands there, suit jacket gone, sleeves rolled up, looking more human than Savion's ever seen him. "Can I come in?" Rashad asks. Savion nods. Rashad crosses the room, moving slowly, like he's afraid of breaking something. He sits on the edge of the chair across from Savion, hands folded, eyes fixed on the baby. "He's getting bigger," Rashad says quietly. "Every day," Savion agrees. Rashad's jaw tightens. The FBI finished processing Dominic's files, everything he gathered, every transaction, every name. Savion's throat closes, and 23 arrests so far, more coming. Dominic's work, what he died protecting, it's taking down operations in 5 states. Tears burn behind Savion's eyes. "He never told me." "He was protecting you," Rashad says. "The less you knew, the safer you were." "I could have helped." "You did help, you survived, you kept his son alive." Rashad's eyes meet his. "That's everything." Savion looks down at the baby. "What happens now?" "The FBI wants to testify, use the DNA evidence, build the case so tight no one walks." "And after?" Rashad leans forward, elbows on his knees. "After you're free, no more running, no more hiding, you and your son get to live." Savion's breath shakes. "Where?" "Wherever you want." The words hang between them. Because Savion knows what Rashad's offering. Freedom. A chance to disappear. To build a life somewhere far from Mafia wars and blood-stained docks. But when Savion looks up, he doesn't see distance in Rashad's eyes. He sees something else. What if I don't want to leave? Savion asks quietly. Rashad goes still. What? What if I want to stay here, with Kaelen, with you? Rashad's hands clench. You don't owe me anything. I'm not offering because I owe you, Savion says. I'm offering because your son needs me, and maybe you do too. Rashad's jaw works like he's swallowing something sharp. You saved Kaelen twice, Rashad says roughly, first in the snow, then at the safe house. He trusts you in a way he doesn't trust anyone else, including me. That's not true. It is, Rashad's voice cracks slightly. I failed him. I lied to him about his mother. I let danger reach him. And you showed him kindness when the world was freezing him out. Savion sets the baby gently in the bassinet beside him, then moves to kneel in front of Rashad. You didn't fail him, Savion says firmly. You protected him the only way you knew how. Sometimes love looks like walls, sometimes it looks like lies, but it's still love. Rashad's eyes burn. He deserves better than walls. Then tear them down. Rashad stares at him. What if I don't know how? Then I'll help you, Savion says simply. Footsteps thunder down the hallway. Kaelen bursts through the door, clutching a book. Savion, you said you'd raid with me before lunch. Savion smiles. I did say that. Kaelen climbs onto the chair, pressing against Savion's side. He looks at his father. Are you staying for lunch too? Rashad hesitates. Kaelen's face falls. You're always working. I know, Rashad says quietly. Can't you just stay, please? Rashad looks at his son, then at Savion, then at the baby sleeping peacefully in the bassinet. And something shifts in his expression. Something that looks like surrender. Yeah, Rashad says, I can stay. Kaelen's face lights up. And Savion's heart does something dangerous. It opens. Later that afternoon, they sit in the mansion's library. Kaelen sprawls on the floor, drawing pictures with colored pencils. Savion rocks the baby gently, humming something soft and wordless. And Rashad sits nearby, pretending to read reports but really just watching them. Dad, Kaelen says suddenly, can Savion stay forever? Rashad's eyes lift. That's up to Savion. Kaelen turns to Savion, eyes wide and hopeful. Will you? Savion's throat tightens. Do you want me to? Yes, Kaelen says immediately. You make things feel safe, like when you gave me your coat, like you'd protect me even if it hurt you. Savion's chest aches. Then yes, Savion says, I'll stay. Kaelen grins and goes back to his drawing. Rashad stands, crossing to where Savion sits. He kneels beside the rocking chair, voice low. You don't have to do this, Rashad says. Stay just for him. I'm not, Savion says, meeting his eyes. I'm staying for all of us. Rashad's breath catches. You need someone who understands what it's like to lose everything, Savion continues. Someone who won't run when things get hard. Someone who will protect what matters. And you think that's you? I know it is, Savion's voice steadies. Because I've already chosen your son once. I'd choose him again, every time. Rashad's hand reaches out, hesitating, then gently touches the baby's tiny fingers. What about your son? Rashad asks. What does he need? Safety, family, love. I can give him that, Rashad says. All of it. I know. Rashad's eyes lift, then let me. Savion's heart pounds. What are you asking? I'm asking if I can protect both of you, not just as a responsibility, but as something more. More like what? Rashad's jaw tightens. Like pack, like bond, like the kind of connection that doesn't break. Savion's breath stops. Because Rashad's talking about marking. About claiming. About forever. You don't have to answer now, Rashad says quickly. I know it's too soon, I know you're still grieving, but when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I want you to know the offer stands. Savion looks at this man who saved his life, who protected his son. Who's trying so hard to be better than the walls he built. And Savion realizes something. He's not afraid anymore. Not of Rashad. Not of this choice. Ask me again in 3 months, Savion says. Rashad's eyes widen. 3 months. When I've healed, when your son knows me better, when we're sure this isn't just trauma binding us together. Rashad nods slowly, and if it's not, if it's real, then I'll say yes. Rashad's hand covers Savion's, warm and steady. I can wait, he says. Good, Savion says softly, because I want to choose you for the right reasons, not because I'm scared, not because I'm desperate, but because I want to. Rashad's thumb traces gentle circles on Savion's wrist. And Kaelen looks up from his drawing. Are you guys being mushy? Savion laughs, maybe a little. Gross, Kaelen says, but he's smiling. The baby stirs, making soft sounds. And Savion lifts him, pressing a kiss to his forehead. Your daddy would be proud of you, Savion whispers. Dominic, he'd be so proud. Rashad stands, moving to the window. The FBI wants to name him in the final report, honor his work. Will they? If you give permission, his name would go public, people would know what he did. Savion considers this. Will it keep others safe? Yes. Then do it, Savion says. Let people know he died protecting something bigger than himself. Rashad nods. And outside, the city moves on. Unaware that in this mansion, 3 broken people are slowly becoming whole. That night after Kaelen falls asleep, Savion stands in the nursery, watching his son breathe. Rashad appears in the doorway, can't sleep. Just thinking. About what? Savion turns, about how much has changed. 3 weeks ago I was terrified, running, alone. And now I'm standing in a mansion, watching my son sleep safely, with an alpha who wants to protect us. Rashad steps closer. Does that scare you? No, Savion says, it gives me hope. Rashad's hand reaches out, tucking a strand of hair behind Savion's ear. The gesture is gentle, careful, asking permission with every movement. Power can buy silence, Rashad says quietly, but only love can create safety. Savion's eyes widen. Where did you hear that? Nowhere, I just realized it. Watching you with Kaelen, watching you choose kindness when the world was cruel. Savion's throat tightens. My whole life I built walls, Rashad continues, kept people out, controlled everything, and it still wasn't enough to protect my son. But you did more with a coat and kindness than I did with an army. You protected us when it mattered most, Savion says. Only because you showed me how. They stand in the soft glow of the nursery lamp, 2 people who have survived hell, slowly learning what it means to heal. 3 months, Rashad says, I'll wait. I knows you will. And when the time comes. Savion smiles, then we'll see what forever looks like. Rashad nods, stepping back. Good night, Savion. Good night. But before Rashad leaves, he pauses. Thank you. For what? For saving my son, for staying, for giving us a chance. Savion's eyes shine. Thank you for choosing love over power. Rashad's jaw tightens with emotion, then he's gone. And Savion stands alone with his sleeping son, knowing that for the first time since Dominic died, the future doesn't feel empty. It feels possible. Epilogue 6 months later. Snow falls again. But this time it's gentle. Kaelen runs through the mansion's courtyard, laughing, throwing snowballs at Rashad, who pretends they hurt. Inside, Savion watches from the window, the baby, now 6 months old, gurgling happily in his arms. The FBI trials concluded, 28 convictions, Serena's network dismantled, Dominic's name honored in federal records as a hero who gave his life protecting others. The mansion feels different now, warmer, filled with laughter instead of silence. And this morning, Rashad asked the question again. Are you ready? Savion looked at him, really looked, and saw not the Mafia king, but the man who learned to tear down walls, who chose vulnerability over control, who protected not because he owned them, but because he loved them. Yes, Savion said, I'm ready. Rashad's eyes burned with something fierce and tender. And tonight, under the full moon, Rashad will mark him. Not as property, not as obligation, but as choice, as family, as forever. Kaelen runs inside, snow clinging to his hair. Savion, come outside, Dad's letting me win. Savion laughs, am I invited to this snowball war? Obviously, Kaelen says, grabbing his hand, your family now. Savion's heart swells. Because those words, your family now, are everything he thought he'd lost forever. He bundles the baby in warm blankets, and they step outside together. Rashad catches Savion's eye across the courtyard. And smiles. Not the cold, controlled smile of a Mafia king, but the warm, genuine smile of a man who's finally learned what matters. Savion smiles back. And as snow falls softly around them, he realizes something. This is what healing looks like. Not perfect, not without scars, but real, and safe, and chosen. Power bought Rashad an empire, but love gave him a family. And in the end, that's the only thing that ever mattered. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We have more stories that inspire, challenge, and remind us what it means to be human. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest transformations.